ब्रह्मचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
माधवा कुंजा
जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे जय पंचतत्वा जय पंचतत्वा पंचतत्वा जय पंचतत्वा जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ बालदेवा जय सुभद्रा देवी जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद इस डिवाइन ग्रेस ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जाय इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की जाय ब्रह्म मध्व गौड़ी आचार्य वृंद की जाय नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जाय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जाय वृंदावन धाम की जाय नवदीप धाम की जाय मायापुर धाम की जाय गंगा माई की जय यमुना माई की जय तुलसी देवी की जय भक्ति देवी की जय सामवित गौर भक्त वृंद की जय all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to the assembled devotees all glories all glories all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga all glories to Srila Prabhupada Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, titled The Description of the Kingdom of God, text 6 and 7. Text 7 is on the board. I will read text 6 by myself. Text 6. tvānanyena bhāvena bhāvayanti ātma-bhāvanam ātmani prota-bhuvanaṁ param sad-asad-ātmakam. Translation. O Lord, all these planets exist within yourself, and all the living entities are generated from you. Therefore, you are the cause of this universe, and anyone who meditates upon you without deviation attains devotional service. Text 7, it's on the board. teṣāṁ supakva-yogānāṁ jita-śvāsendriyātmanām labdha-yuṣmat-prasādānāṁ na kutaścit parābhavaḥ teṣāṁ supakva-yogānāṁ jita-śvāsendriyātmanām labdha-yuṣmat-prasādānāṁ na kutaścit parābhavaḥ teṣāṁ supakva-yogānāṁ jita-śvāsendriyātmanām labdha-yuṣmat-prasādānāṁ na kutaścit parābhavaḥ. Vaishnavis. teṣāṁ, of them, supakva-yogānāṁ, who are mature mystics, jita, controlled, śvāsa, breath, indriya, the senses, ātmanam, the mind, labdha, attained, yuṣmat-prasādānāṁ, mercy, na, not, kutaścit, anywhere, parābhavaḥ, defeat. Translation, please repeat. There is no defeat in this material world for persons who control the mind and senses by controlling the breathing process, and who are therefore experienced mature mystics. This is because by such perfection in yoga, they have attained your mercy. Purport. The purpose of yogic performances is explained here. It is said that an experienced mystic attains full control of the senses and the mind by controlling the breathing process. Therefore, controlling the breathing process is not the ultimate aim of yoga. The real purpose of yogic performance is to control the mind and the senses. Anyone who has such control is to be understood to be an experienced, mature mystic yogi. It is indicated herein that a yogi who has control over the mind and senses has the actual benediction of the Lord, and he has no fear. In other words, one cannot attain the mercy and benediction of the Supreme Lord until one is able to control the mind and the senses. This is actually possible when one fully engages in Krishna consciousness. A person whose senses and mind are always engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord has no possibility of engaging in material activities. The devotees of the Lord are not defeated anywhere in the universe. It is stated, Narayana para sarve, one who is Narayana para, or a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is not afraid anywhere, whether he is sent to hell or promoted to heaven. Bhagavatam 6:17-28. नमो ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरोभयश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So this chapter is the description of the kingdom of God, and just to give a recap of what is happening here, in the previous chapter we learnt about how Vidur wanted to learn more about Varahadev, and in response to that, Maitreya Muni started explaining how Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha were born. And there is the pastime of Diti requesting Kashyapa Muni for having a union in an inappropriate time, because of which Lord Shiva is angered. The time, Sandhya time, which is meant for Lord Shiva and the Bhuta Ganas. So because she requested for a union at that time, she attracted two apparently demoniac souls into her womb. And then she was very ashamed of her action. So she begs for forgiveness from Lord Shiva and from her husband. And her husband says that nothing can be done about the kids who are going to be coming. They are going to be demoniac, they will be causing suffering to the world. But because you are very repentful, you have two blessings, that both your sons will be killed by the Lord. And one of your grandson will be a very great devotee of the Lord. And is it possible we could just put down this a little bit? Thank you, Prabhu. Sorry for the disturbance. So one of your grandsons will be a very great, Prahlad, born of Hiranyakashipu, will be a very great devotee of the Lord. So Diti is very happy that she has these blessings regarding her sons being killed by the Lord and her grandson being a very great devotee of the Lord. And this chapter starts with Diti holding the embryos in her womb for 100 years, just so that they don't come out and already start disturbing the demigods. But the effect of this womb is that there is the radiation of sun and moon. The womb is so demoniac that the radiation of both the sun and moon, the illumination coming from sun and moon, is completely blocked. Means the world is becoming dark. There is so much darkness emanating from the womb. And obviously that disturbs the demigods. Yeah? It's not that something has happened to the demigods, but they immediately feel disturbed. They immediately feel like, oh my God, what is going to happen? It looks like something bad is coming my way. Will we be thrown out of our position? Will we not be demigods? Will we not enjoy our somarasa? Immediately they become agitated. As soon as there is just a slight hint of something bad could happen, they become very agitated. And then they go to Lord Brahma and they glorify Lord Brahma, and they are basically seeking information from him. What is happening? Could you kindly, dear Lord, tell us what is happening with all this darkness spreading everywhere, all over the universe, darkness is spreading. What is happening? And they offer prayers. Obviously, when you go to an authority, first you glorify them, offer your prayers, and then you request for whatever you want to request. And then Brahma explains who is that personality, who are those personalities who are so powerful that they can cause such a darkness in the universe. And the story starts from Vaikunta, and that is how this chapter gives a description of the Vaikunta Loka. So, and then in the Vaikunta Loka, there is a description of what kind of people always live in Vaikunta, and then how there is a couple of gods who look like anomalies, and then the whole pastime manifests from there. They look like, apparently. So we are in this session where the demigods are offering prayers to Lord Brahma. They are telling Lord Brahma, you are coming from Lord Vishnu himself. So you have all the knowledge of this world. And you are blessed to be Trikalagya. You know what happened before, what is happening in the present, and what will happen in the future. You are Trikalagya. And you are the origin of all living entities who want to come into this material world. So you know who is in the material world. You know what they did in the past, present, and or what they're going to do in the future. And you have absolute knowledge of everything because you're coming from Vishnu. So please tell us, what is happening here? Is it something we should be really worried about? What is all this darkness spreading everywhere? And will we lose our position? That's basically the prayer. Will we lose our position? That is the difference between a materialistic person who approaches the Lord for seeking something material, and a devotee. The devotees, as Srila Prabhupada points out, they don't care about all these things. They are happy performing their service. But the demigods were actually very worried. And they were in the grip of fear that something bad might happen to their position. So in this verse, they are nothing. It's not that Brahma is going to hand down some freebies to them. Like, yeah, okay, here I will protect you or anything. You have to make your arrangements. So they are explaining. They are telling that we have to overcome this fear by controlling our senses. This is the verse. This is verse number 7. There is no defeat in this material world for persons who control the mind and senses by controlling the breathing process, who are mature mystics. So they are saying that we know that this fear is coming because our mind is not in our mind and our senses are not under our control. And we know that we have to practice this breathing process and become mature in our mysticism, and thus attain control of our mind so that this fear will go away. And the fear goes away because you become pleased with us. When we make this attempt to control our senses, you become pleased with us. Nothing is for free, no freebies. We are doing this effort, so you are going to become pleased with us, and you are going to offer us the protection. You tell us who is coming, what to do to protect ourselves from the danger that's coming, like that. So that is basically the prayer in this verse. And Srila Prabhupada immediately presents a starking comparison of in the purport, of the process of bhakti yoga. Immediately Prabhupada talks, where the demigods are saying we have to control our breathing process and mature in our mysticism. Srila Prabhupada says the devotees of the Lord are not defeated anywhere in the universe, and they have no fear in any time. So that is the comparison. So even when you are practicing that mysticism, you are still in the grip of fear. But when you become a devotee, you don't feel the fear. So in that context, we will compare the process of Ashtanga Yoga and the process of Bhakti Yoga. And we will compare the result of Ashtanga Yoga and the result of Bhakti Yoga. And we will compare the effectiveness of Ashtanga Yoga and the effectiveness of Bhakti Yoga in mitigating one's fear based on this verse. So how does the process of Ashtanga Yoga work? Comparing the process, Bhagavad Gita gives a very detailed explanation. How does one perform Ashtanga Yoga? You have to be ekaki, you have to be alone, and saucha deshe, in a sanctified place. You can't sit in any kind of a pub or any place and I'm sitting in the pub, I'm having a drink and I'm breathing, you can't do that. Saucha deshe, a very sanctified place. And chittatma, self-control. You should have self-control. You cannot be, you are responsible for controlling yourself. You cannot rely on anybody else. Oh, this is a distraction. Oh, that is a distraction. Don't get distracted. It's your duty to remain self-controlled. And samagrivam, you have to have your head and your back and your neck all in straight line, and can't keep your eyes closed. You can't keep your eyes open. You have to be like somewhere in the middle, and you have to focus on the tip of your nose. And you can't sit on a high place. You can't sit in a low place. You have to find the correct height. and you have to cover it with some deer skin and soft cloth and kusha grass, to repel away insects and snakes and all that, so that you can perform your yoga peacefully. And you can't sleep even, and you can't lie down, you have to be only sitting. You can't just go on a japa walk, you have to just sit and focus your mind. And then you can't breathe randomly, like after our kirtan is over, most of us are like and then you can't do all of that. You have to your intaking breath will merge with your outtaking. I don't know how it happens. This breath merges with that breath, and that breath merges with this breath. Some kind of process even for breathing. So as we can see, it's like very, very impractical and very difficult. And how does the process of bhakti work? Krishna also explains that in Bhagavad Gita. Param drishtva nivartate. We do not tell our senses, don't do this, don't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. We don't give them don'ts. We give them do's. You do this, you do that. And what is that? You get something higher. A higher engagement for your senses will help you control the senses in a more natural way, so you can surrender to Krishna. So there is so many examples of how to perform devotional service. For example, we do not say you can't close your eyes, you can't open your eyes. We say use your eyes for seeing the Lord. We don't say don't breathe this way, don't breathe that way. No, use your breathing to inhale the tulasi offered to the Lord. So everything has an alternate. In Bhagavatam, there is the description of Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj, 9th canto. Krishna Padara Vindayor. Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunanuvarnane. Karav Hari Mandira Marjanadishu Shrutim Chakararchuta Sadgato Katodaye. Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Drishav. Basically what is happening, Ambarish Maharaj is given as an example of Param Drishtva Nivartate. Mana Krishna Padara Vindayo. Take your mind and meditate, use it to meditate on the Padaravinda, lotus feet of Lord Krishna. And Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunan Varnane. Use your ability, use your tongue to glorify the pastimes of the Lord. And Karo Hari Mandira Marjanadishu. Use your hand to clean the Mandira, temple of the Lord. And Shrutim Chakar Archita Sat Katodaya. You use your ears to hear the pastimes of the Lord. Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Drisha. Use your drisha, use your eyes for darshana of Mukunda, Lingalaya, temples of Lord Mukunda. Go to temples, look at the beautiful forms of Lord Mukunda. Tad Britya Gatra Sparshe Anga Sangamam. Use your sense of touch in touching the body of the devotees, serving them, massage them, serve the devotees. And Tad Pada Saroja Saura Anga Sangamam. Use your nostril to smell the tulasi offered to the lotus feet of the Lord. And use your tongue to taste the remnants of the offering to the Lord, prasadam. And Padav Hari Kshetra Padano Vandan. You use your pada, legs, to go to the Hari Kshetra, to visit different temples of Hari. And Siro Rishikesha Padano Sarpana. You use your head to bow down to Rishikesh, to offer obeisance. And Kamam tu kamye natu kamam cha kamye natu kama kamyaya. getting the verse wrong, I suppose. Use your desires, have all your desires in such a way that the only desire is to serve Krishna. All the desire is allowed, but the desire is to serve Krishna. And Yato Uttama Sloka Jana, and all the Jana of Uttama Sloka, the devotees of the Lord. Yeah? If you train your desires to be those desire for serving Lord and His devotees, like that every single aspect of your existence, your senses, your mind, your desires, everything, if you can effectively engage in the service of the Lord, if you give it a param drishtva nivartate, a higher taste, then automatically the senses get controlled. The lower taste for doing something nonsensical is automatically stopped. So the process is very easy. We don't have don't. We have so many do's. Yeah, so easy for the senses to follow. And then this is the process. Yeah, the process of Ashtanga Yoga is very difficult, and you have to be self-reliant, and the process of bhakti is very easy. And you perform it joyfully in the association of other devotees. Then we look at the result of the two yoga systems. The Ashtanga Yoga, I was researching, I always thought that, anyway, the result is that either you will be successful or you will fail. Yeah, you do something, the result is either you are successful or you fail. So if you fail performing Ashtanga Yoga, then you have to start from zero again. Like what happened with Vishwamitra. You know, he was meditating, he wanted to become Brahma Rishi, and the demigods sent Menaka, and boom, all finished. Now then when he realized, they just blocked me from becoming Brahma Rishi, then he rejected everything, but he had to start from zero again. But what about if you fail in bhakti? The result can be you are successful or you fail. But if you fail in bhakti, let's say you do 5% bhakti and you fail, something happens, you stop. That does not mean when you take up the process again, you have to go from zero. You will start from 6%. Where whatever account you have created, all of that is going to be maintained. You will never be reset to zero again and again. But in Ashtanga Yoga, you will be reset. If you fail repeatedly, you will be reset. And what happens if you become successful in Ashtanga Yoga? What is the result when you become successful? I always thought you get some kind of siddhis. So when I was researching, it is actually pretty, what you get is pretty freaky. There is 8 siddhis you can get, and then 10 secondary siddhis, and 5 inferior siddhis, and 19 minor siddhis, and navanidhis, all of that you can get just by performing Ashtanga Yoga in a successful way. When Ashtanga Yogi reaches the last stage of Samadhi, he can either get a connection with Paramatma or with Brahman. When he gets the connection with Paramatma, then the byproducts of that connection are all these Ashtasiddhi, Navanidhi and all these things. These are byproducts, just simple distraction. It might even make somebody think that they are God. They may think, now I can fly in air, I can become so small and enter a room, I can become heavy like a planet, and pretty distracting, and they may just get lost. Instead of controlling their senses to overcome the fear of material world, they may get entangled in the material world. And if they get Brahman realization, it's not just distraction, it's complete destruction. You actually believe that you are God. You want to merge into the light of the God. So if you fail, you are reset to zero. If you pass, either you will be distracted or you will be destructed. So the result is also very bad. Process is very difficult. Result is also very bad. And what is the result when you perform bhakti? If you fail, wherever you stopped, you get to pick up from there and continue. You will never be reset to zero. And if you are successful, the result of a successful performance of bhakti the result of bhakti is bhakti. Bhakti is the process and bhakti is the result. So, Bhagavatam points out 3 results. First result is bhakti. This is the conversation between Maharaj Nimi and the Nava-yogendras. The result of performing bhakti is bhakti, you will get bhakti, paresha-anubhāvam, para-isha, the Supreme Lord, anubhava, you will get a direct perception of the Supreme Lord. And virakti anyatra, you will develop virakti, detachment from everything else. Now, these 3 things come. And Esha Trikala, they will all, Trika Eka Kala, in one shot, simultaneously these 3 things are awarded to a person who performs his bhakti process in a successful way. So you get devotion, you get to perceive Lord Krishna in your life. He becomes the captain of our life's ship. Things go in odd ways, and only devotees understand that. Only devotees, what looks as misfortune to others, actually in your heart you feel as a great fortune. And you can see that you are not the controller. Krishna is, you can perceive the presence of Lord in your life, and that gives it naturally gives rise to virakti. You're not attached to your own agenda or anything that helps you fulfill the agenda. You become detached. And it is compared to tushti, pushti and kshid apayonugasam. When somebody is eating, they will feel satisfied. So bhakti is compared to satisfaction. When you eat food, the first symptom is you feel you're hungry, you have a plate of food, you're eating. So you feel satisfied. Oh, now I got prasadam. So bhakti is compared to that satisfaction. Both of them give us pleasure. And pushti means you get nourishment. And nourishment is compared to paraisha-anubhava, the direct perception of the Lord. Because food, putting food in the body and perceiving the Lord in our life, they're both very nourishing to our spiritual life. And so pushti is compared to paraisha-anubhava, and kshid apayenughasam. You will feel that your hunger is going down. The hunger ceases. Slowly you will get a stopping of hunger, and that is compared to stopping of material hankering, virakti. It's compared to that. So, so you get, if you are failing, you get to start from where you stopped. If you are successful, you get bhakti paresha-anubhava virakti ranyatra. You will get these results. And of course, performance of devotional service, the result is you will perform more devotional service and more devotional service and more devotional service. So the result is also very positive. Process, Ashtanga Yoga process is difficult, result is terrible. Bhakti Yoga process is super easy and result is beautiful. You will feel the presence of Krishna in your life that nourishes your spiritual life. And how effective it is. How effective are these 2 processes in mitigating the fear. The demigods basically are talking about it. There is no defeat in this material for persons who are controlling the mind. So they don't want to be defeated. They don't want to have a situation in their life where something from their material opulence goes away from them. They have a fear. So how effective are these 2 processes in mitigating this? Ashtanga Yoga, you don't get any relief from material fear at all. No relief at all. You do not feel any relief of any fear from material things. In fact, they are so afraid that their process of yoga might be hampered. Their result is fearlessness. The result will never come. We are not even talking about getting the result. they can't even peacefully stay and complete the process. They should be fearful that they cannot complete the process even. Not that they are afraid that they won't get the result, but they should be afraid that they can't complete the process itself, because the process is so difficult. You will see them running to Himalayas, hiding in the caves, sitting under ice, standing surrounded by fire. Why do they do it? They want to control their senses. And that is how you can, if you take up the process, that is how you can control. There is no other way of controlling. And if any one sense slips, finish. Saubhari Muni was there. He didn't even go to like a mountain or cave or anything. He went directly under the ocean, under water, under a river. And not 1 year, 2 years, 10,000 years he was sitting and meditating. And then just momentarily for a few seconds, a couple of seconds, he just opened his eyes. And he saw the union of two fish. And that one sense, boom, dragged him down. He reset all his 10,000 years of yogic process. And what did his sense want? He didn't have one wife. He had 50 wives. Is that right? 50? 50 wives. He had to have 50 wives for that one sense dragged him into such a level of sense gratification that he ended up marrying 50 beautiful young princesses and having sense enjoyment. So the process of in the process of Ashtanga Yoga, the fear is not whether or not I will be freed from fear of material world. The fear is whether or not I will be able to do the process. That is utterly ineffective. Nothing can save you from, nothing can protect your senses from this material world. And how effective is then Bhakti Yoga in removing the fear of the material existence? How effective it is? The devotees always feel protected. They never feel any fear of anything that happens in the material world. Virakti, because they are not attached to any. There is a difference between virakti in that purport for this verse. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that virakti is different from tyaga. Virakti means detachment. Tyaga means renouncing. Renouncing requires your effort. Means you have to control your senses. You have to make sure your eyes don't see the fish. You have to make sure that your breathing is proper. You have to make sure that you don't eat too much. You have to make sure that you don't sleep too much. But in bhakti process, it is detachment. That you are naturally detached from all these things. You are not making an effort to attain it. It is automatically attained to you. You are naturally eligible for that kind of no attachment to material things. So they don't feel any fear. Only if you have something material to protect, you will have the fear. But when you are totally detached, then there is no fear. And whatever might be the challenge, devotees take it like they are ready to face it head on. And Srila Prabhupada quotes in the purport the verse from Chitraketu's pastime. Narayana parasarve na kutaśchana bibyate svarga aparvaga narakeshu api tulyartha darshinaha. So if one is solely engaged in the devotional service to the Supreme Lord, what happens to him? He'll never fear any condition in life. He becomes na bibyati, no fear about anything at all. And you can put him in Svarga, you can put him in Naraka, you can put him in, you can give him liberation. All are tulya, same to him. It doesn't matter. Wherever you put him, fearlessly he will perform devotional service. And this is one of the very rare circumstances in Bhagavatam where we hear one devotee glorifying another devotee in like almost like a fandom way, you know. This verse is spoken by Lord Shiva, and this verse Lord Shiva speaks when he sees the response of Chitraketu. You know, apparently Chitraketu offends Lord Shiva. Apparently Mother Sita is angry, Mother Parvati is angry. Apparently Mother Parvati curses Chitraketu to become demon. And how Chitraketu responds to it? How does he respond? Does he become fearful? It is not an imaginary situation. Everywhere it is dark. Will I lose my position of being demigod? Not a imaginary situation, a real situation. He is cursed to become a demon. Compared to the demigods here who are afraid of the darkness of the material world, which is, it could be anything, but they are already afraid. But Chitraketu is actually cursed. He is actually going to become a fearsome demon. Copper red eyes, copper red hair, very gruesome form of body. He'll be killed in a very cruel way. They're going to get the bones of a saint, Dadichi, and they're going to cut him up into pieces. He's going to get a gruesome life, a gruesome death. And how does Chitraketu respond? How does he respond to that? He says something like, if you are in the salty ocean, whichever side you turn, you will taste only salt, you will breathe only salt, everywhere you will only feel salt. There is nothing you can do about it, And by that detachment, he pleased Mother Parvati so much. Yeah? So he was not afraid. He did not say, oh my God, I got cursed to be a demon. What is going to happen to me? Let me go and ask Lord Brahma what I can do about it. No fear at all. Anyway, this is material world. That you should expect only this, And throughout, Ambarish Maharaj, when he was cursed, he didn't care. He was just sitting and chanting Hare Krishna. Any kind of challenge devotees are put through, they don't mind. In fact, they utilize it to improve their devotion and to improve the devotion of others, And that is why Lord Shiva is almost he is like a fandom, like, wow, look at the pure devotees of the Lord. They're so wonderful, They're not afraid of anything. Lord Shiva is admiring Chitraketu's devotion, because they actually are not scared of anything. Haridas Thakur, he was there chanting. And Ramachandra Khan was so envious because he is not the most popular guy anymore. Everybody was becoming like, oh, Haridas Thakur, Haridas Thakur. So, so he was envious. So he wanted to send the most beautiful prostitute to distract and make Haridas Thakur fall down. And what did Haridas Thakur do? Did he get scared? Oh no, they are coming to attack my devotion. Let me just pack up and run in the middle of the night. He said, no, bring it on. Let her come 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. And he not only utilized that challenge to improve his own bhakti, to continuously chant the holy names of the Lord, he converted that prostitute, Hirabai. Hirabai means a lady beautiful like diamond. And what did he make her into? She became Laksha Hira. She made her into a woman who is as precious as Laksha, 1,000,000 diamonds. Yeah? She was a diamond in her beauty and whatever, but she became a diamond who's like lakhs of diamond put together. Yeah? That is the impact. You put devotees in danger, that is what they will do. They will create Laksha Hiras. They will utilize it as an opportunity, not to just to increase their devotion, but even increase the devotion of others. Our Srila Prabhupada, the turbulent ocean did not stop him. Heart attack did not stop him. He did not get afraid, oh, I'm having a heart attack. When we just go in the Boston harbor, let us just come back to India. No, he was not afraid. And attempt to stab, he was not afraid. They made court cases that ISKCON is brainwashing. He was not afraid. And he went into communist countries. He faced the KGB. Nothing, nothing could make them feel a fear about the material world. And in fact, in spite of all these many problems, they are only interested in surrendering, Narayana Parasarve. They want to surrender everything to the Lord. So the effectiveness, how effective is Ashtanga Yoga? It's utterly ineffective. How effective is bhakti in removing our fear of material world? It is more than 1,000,000% effective. We not only become fearless because Abhaya Charana Ravinda, we not only become fearless because of taking the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, we will utilize that scenario to bring others also into Krishna consciousness. So, and that is how potent the process of bhakti is. So to summarize, we saw how Maitreya is very interested in knowing about the pastimes of Lord Varahadev. So Vidura and Maitreya Muni starts by explaining how Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha are conceived and how their demoniac presence creates a fear in the heart of the demigods, who in this part of the chapter are going to Lord Brahma to offer prayers, and they are talking about controlling their senses in order to overcome the fear. And Srila Prabhupada in the purport brings out a starking contrast of how if somebody really wants to overcome fear of material world, should do only bhakti. And we saw how the process of Ashtanga Yoga is impractical while bhakti is so easy, how the result of Ashtanga Yoga is very negative. Either you are reset to zero or you become distracted or distracted, a very negative result. And how the result of bhakti is that you get bhakti, more bhakti, you get the direct perception of the Lord, and you develop detachment, and that detachment causes fearlessness. And hence bhakti is the most effective process for one who wants to overcome the fear of material existence. And that is the conclusion Prabhupada makes in the purport. And we looked at many examples of Ambarish Maharaj, Haridas Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, how they practiced bhakti and how they used the various fearful situations to not just improve their bhakti, but to bring others into the process of bhakti. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Very, very inspiring class. As we see, even the devotees who made some offense, but they just continue their devotional service, even if they become demons in next life, they still keep their devotional attitude. So my question is, if we make offense, knowingly or unknowingly, is our devotional credit diminished in any way in the next lives?
No.
No?
It's just frozen. It's like you earned, let's say, $1 million and you've put in the bank. And because you misbehaved, the government comes and freezes your account. Means you can't use that $1 million. It is yours, but it's not currently accessible to you. And once you clear your name up, then the $1 million is again accessible. You will not lose even $1 of that $1 million. 1 paisa will not be lost. It will be intact, just that it will be frozen.
So if it's like this, and it's in Shastras, and devotees broadcasting everywhere, why people are not accepting this easy process, how to become happy?
There is this common notion in material world that if something is free, it is not good. Yeah, that is basically our problem. Material world, we all want to be the lords. That means we want the best of everything. So for them, it's very difficult to believe that the best comes for free. So they think like I should pay a lot of money and sit in some place and do some yoga, and or I should go to some guru and pay him big donation and he'll give me an electric shock. Whatever. So it is basically an expression of our material conditioning, that we think that I am the best, so something best has to be given to me, and best is never for free, so this cannot be the best because it's coming for free.
So basically it's ignorance. They don't know what is the result of bhakti.
Yeah. And that's why we are very grateful to devotees. Yeah? They reach out to these people who are ignorant, and even though the doors are shut on their face repeatedly, they get arrested, they get harassed, whatever, they go through so many hardships just to remove that ignorance, and that's why they're very dear to Krishna, because they do it for others, they do it for to make others understand that this freebie is actually the best.
Thank you very much.
ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, सामवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय.